Welcome to Beer Buddies. I'm Shez, this is Phil, and today we're drinking Gulden Draak. Gulden Draak. Let's not be fancy. It's Belgian-ish for Golden Dragon. There's a picture of a Golden Dragon right on the bottle.
And the bottle cap. And a Drake.
And the bottle cap. Excuse the noise. There's some fucking frat shit
Crazy
going
people
on.
going on. It's alright.
Ladies,
crazy.
alright? Yeah. Fuck, all over me. First of all, as soon as we poured the beer, we noticed the color. It's a dark amber going on red and brown.
Really
beer.
red-brown, yeah. It's really dark.
Like this color is like I've seen it in like a lot of most of our strong Belgian beers.
Yeah.
Which have been mostly from Trappists and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we've seen this in most of our strong beers that we review. Mostly from Belgian, Trappists and stuff like that.
Yeah, I attribute this mainly. I mean, when I look at it, I don't think we've ever reviewed a lager, and so.
Yeah, well, we did a lager for our beer.
Well, we did that for beer basics, but that's beer basics.
We'll get around to it.
Lager.
Stick to the Golden Dragon.
So it's really dark, and so usually, like, this is probability, but not many lagers are dark. Since it's a high percent, it could be still a lager, but. My instinct is telling me that this is probably an ale. So, quickly to step 2, let's quickly move to the smell.
Yeah, from color to smell.
Yeah. So, when you smell the beer, I don't get much of a smell at all.
Almost nothing there. Like,
it's really faint.
Slight general beer smell you'll get from,
very
whatever
faint.
hops and whatever malt is in there. What the smell tells us, because it's so faint, it is probably not an IPA. Like we discussed IPAs.
Yeah, they have to have a very
smell.
They have to have a strong smell. Usually, the smell comes from the hops and the beer. So the stronger the smell, the stronger the hops. This has pretty much no smell at all. So there's probably minimal hops in it. So it's probably not an IPA. So
let's hop to the taste. So sorry.
Oh God! So for the rest of the stuff, stout, lager, and ale, you can tell by the taste. Ale itself will usually come out in the aftertaste. That's because it ails your long-term problems. So, because you get drunk, right?
Yes, that's the joke. Every time.
I can't do this for much longer. So a lot of the flavor comes out in the taste versus aftertaste when it comes to lager, ale versus stout. So this one, it has a lot of flavor in its aftertaste, which means that it's most likely an ale, because ales come out in the aftertaste versus lagers and stouts, which come out in the actual taste.
Not repetitive at all, Phil.
Well, thank you, Shez. I didn't know you appreciated everything that I repeated so much.
Oh, I keep track. Phil is one of the type of people who is
Talkative?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Rambly?
Fuck your face, Phil. I'm just gonna be grumpy all episode. Phil's one of the people who lets the possibility exist. He says that this could still be a lager.
I like to work in probabilities.
Probabilities. Well, like you told me that it's like from the smell and the color
Most
alone,
likely.
it could still be a lager. Most likely an ale. I'm crossing off lager immediately. I've never seen a lager this dark.
So that's why, I mean, you tend to associate a lot of things with the tendencies. That's why, like, when you see a lot of fermenting in the beer, you think it's going to be a Trappist beer because they put a lot of additional stuff in there. It's going to ferment. And if it's going to be darker, it's not going to be an ale, lager, because you think every lager is piss color. Like, that's not...
Every lager I've seen has been a light yellow to golden yellow color.
But if you get just a regular ale, you'll have it like a nice coppery red color, while this is higher percent, so it's darker. Couldn't you attribute the darker color to the percentage?
Every lager I've seen is also a very light percentage.
Case in point. So anyway.
Like, play Sudoku with this. Cross off the things that can't be.
This couldn't be a 9. Couldn't be a 7. could still be a 3-1. Oh wait, no, this one isn't a 1, so this one has to be a 3.
Just count the fucking numbers remaining, asshole.
So I just like to make a quick note about this beer. It has a huge taste of toffee,
which we discussed from a previous episode. Comes from the malt.
Yeah.
More malted barley.
Yeah.
Fermented malted barley.
It's because the hops in other cases would usually take over. If it was an IPA or the stout, it would just taste really burnt. Yeah. The toffee flavor just comes from the malt. So I would check this off as an ale.
Yeah. So what's happening is there's no smell, so you know it's not hoppy, it's not an IPA, but there is a really strong toffee taste. So it leans closer.
Well, so let's go
ale.
let's go this one by one. So no smell, which means that we can pretty much check if we're going by your list. That checks IPA off the list. Dark color, that means it's not. Red amber, that means it's not a stout. It's not a lager. That leaves us with pretty much amber already at this point.
Amber and ale, because some ales can be this color.
Well, amber ale, yeah. I'm sorry. I should have just said ale. And so at that point, if we're working by my skill, though, that means that lager, ale, and stout can be there. By you, just by the look and the smell, it's probably already an ale.
Why would lager, ale, and stout be there?
So you can have a very light stout. It just means that you can burn it slightly. And ales, it just might have to do with the fact of how... Because you know how ales versus lagers has to do with the way you brew it. If it's top fermentation versus bottom fermentation. That has nothing to do with the amount of time that it's been fermented. It's just that there's tendencies with it. So this is darker, which means that that's just an ale tendency.
Phil, if I can't follow your train of thought, they can't. I guarantee you. I'm so sorry.
Help me, everyone! It could still be a lager.
Gulden Draak, dark triple ale. Triple ale, all the triple ales we've had, the only one I can remember off the top of my head is Samichlaus. Have been really strong. I mean, 10.5 is relatively strong. Lagers don't come in triples, only ales do. So you cross off lager, Phil.
That's because that's a tendency. Lagers are not usually high percentage.
Tell me a strong lager.
That's why I'm saying tendency.
No, tell me a strong lager. If it's a tendency,
I don't know.
If it's a tendency, then there are no exceptions. Or there are exceptions. If it's a tendency, there are exceptions. Tell me a strong lager. Yeah. How are your nuts doing, Phil?
They're wonderful, thank you.
Yeah?
I'm not the one sprawled out here.
Are they still okay from the last time?
Yeah.
I slapped his nuts last time.
That has been Beer Buddies.
Oh, yeah.
It has been Beer Buddies with Shez and Phil. And I'm glad you watched the episode. I am looking forward to seeing you again at the next episode.